everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. I am back. Obviously, I did not go to the movies previous weekend because it was 4th of July, and as you know, I was seeing family in Massachusetts, but I did go back to the movies this week to use my AMC A-list and get my money's worth. I had no interest in seeing fucking Moana because no, I do not want to see any more of these Disney live-action remakes that are a shot-for-shot recreation of a perfectly good animated feature. They have no reason to exist except to make Disney money, and it annoys me. I wanted to see Leviticus, but unfortunately, that has been out for a couple of weeks, and it was already a limited release, so it had like literally one showing in one theater at like 10:30 at night. So that was a no-go. I did consider going to see Minions and Monsters because the trailer didn't suck. It looked like it might be amusing, and I thought the 3D could be kind of fun. But in the end, when I was looking at theaters and showtimes, I ended up seeing that there was an afternoon showing of The Furious, which I had heard good things about, and I was like, yes, I could totally go for a Hong Kong action movie with some great fight choreography. And that is exactly what I got. It's a very basic plot. It's basically, you know, it's these kinds of movies are basically, they're like porn movies, where there's just enough plot to explain why there's a whole bunch of sex scenes. You just need enough plot to get to people to have sex with each other. And here, you just need enough plot to explain why people are beating the shit out of each other. So it does that. Basically, there's this guy whose daughter is abducted by human traffickers, and he wants to get her back. Then there's this other guy, and his wife disappeared while investigating the same human traffickers, and he wants her back. So they eventually connect and beat the crap out of each other for a little bit, as you do, before realizing that they are on the same side, and then they team up to take down the bad guys. And it's incredible. The fight choreography is like butter. It's smooth, it's thrilling, it's just like crazy ass moves and people swooping and they're rolling and swooping and jumping and twisting, and it's really very impressive. And then they also occasionally involve, like, there's some weapons, but then there's also like prop work, like with ladders and like tables and sliding tables around, and it's all very, very good. It's just very impressive. So that's terrific. Great action. The problem is that there is some really painfully egregious dubbing that just, it's very distracting. And part of me is like, I tried to look at it as, it's like, you know, the cheesy dubbing in the old Hong Kong action movies from like 70s and 80s, where it's very badly dubbed. And I'm just like, I can't really look at it that way, because by this point, you should be better at dubbing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to dub your movie into English, which I don't think you had to, it could have been in Chinese and whatever, like, people would read subtitles, it's fine. Because for the action scenes, there's no dialogue anyway. Although weirdly, it was an open caption screening. It was the only option, so I was like, whatever, I have no choice. But I thought it would be fine because I thought it was going to be subtitled. But then it's not subtitled, and 90% of the dialogue is in English, so the open captions were kind of distracting and annoying because they're describing like ominous music, you know, coughing, you know, it's like, ugh. So it was a little distracting. But thankfully they did not caption every single punch, because that would have been a lot. That would have been distracting. Anyway, the dubbing was terrible. Super awkward, and I'm just like, if you can't do it well, don't do it at all. I don't think this needed to be in English anyway. People would have read subtitles, it would have been fine. But then I also read an article online about how it's suspected that they actually used AI to like match lip movements to the dubbing. Like, they might not have been speaking English on set, and then they decided to turn it into an English movie to try to get some more box office. So they basically dubbed it and then used AI to change the lip readings, the lip movements to match the English words, which would be really shitty, and I would have a hard time supporting this movie if they did such a thing. But it's still a good movie. You're not going to find it in theaters anymore, so you'll have to wait for it to show up somewhere on streaming if you want to see some great fighting. As for games, the big news that happened while I was away was, of course, Sony announcing that they will no longer be making discs after January 2028. Now that's a ways off. Basically everything that's scheduled for 2026 and 2027 to have a physical release, they will still have a physical release. There's still time for them to change their mind, but I do not expect them to change their minds. They want a fully digital future. That's what everybody wants. They want to get rid of physical media so that we can't actually own anything. Me and my husband have an apartment full of bookcases that are full of DVDs, Blu-rays, books. We love physical media. We like to own our shit. I did eventually cave on music, where I would buy music. I will buy music, but then I will download it onto a hard drive so I actually have the physical files. It's a little better than just, having it in the cloud. Like, I will not buy a movie for $20 and have it rest in a cloud where I can stream it at my leisure. I want to actually own a disc. Because I want better quality and I want consistent quality. I don't have to rely on streaming, and I like all the extras and things. But also to actually own the physical movie or television show or whatever. Because if their license changes, then suddenly you can't watch that movie anymore and you're out $20. Doesn't happen with a disc. So we are all about physical media in this household. So the whole digital thing is not great. And what's also concerning is, like I said, the games that are meant to get physical media releases will, except we're already seeing some not. The upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 will not be receiving a physical... Well, I mean, technically you can buy a box for the game to put on your shelf with the other games. There won't be a disc in it. They're not pressing discs. Inside that box will be a code to download the game. So that's they're already shifting to digital only, because they want to own everything. They don't want you to own anything. I did buy, as you might recall, the digital Xbox Series S because it was on sale, and it was only $250 versus the $400 or $500 for the disc version, the X. And I just wanted the cheaper version because these fucking helicopters. We're in a flight path. It really bothers me. Go on. They're shuttling people from the city to the airports, JFK and LaGuardia or whatever. So they're constantly flying over our neighborhood, and it's really loud and annoying. Okay, I was going to edit it out, but I like that rant, so I'll keep it. Anyway, I bought the digital Xbox Series S because it was cheaper, and it wasn't going to be my primary gaming machine, The PlayStation 5 is my primary gaming machine, and that I made sure to buy the one with the disc drive. A, because I wanted to have a 4K Blu-ray player as a bonus, but B, I like the option, If there's a game that's super cheap in the PlayStation Store, Jedi Survivor is $6.99, I will finally, I'll buy it, and I'll try Jedi Survivor for $7, sure. But then I'm what? Amazon is having a sale on Star Wars Outlaws, and it's only $20? I will buy the physical copy with a disc from Amazon for $20 because it's cheaper than the $30 or $40 they're charging on the PlayStation Store for a digital download. I liked having the option. Also, physical games, you can lend them. I just played Ghost of Yote because I borrowed it from my friend Cam. So that won't be able to happen anymore because everything's going to be digital. And he borrows games from the library all the time. Won't be able to do that anymore. There won't be any trading. There won't be any lending or borrowing. You buy your game and then it's yours until they tell you it's not anymore. You can't trade. You can't do any of that fun stuff that you used to be able to do with physical media all these years. So, fuck Sony. I'm a little irritated at this development. I knew it was coming, but it's still annoying when it does come. As for the games I've been playing, Disney Dreamlight Valley, I finished the Star Path, so I'm basically just like doing the friendship quests for Hercules and Phil. Nikki, I barely play Nikki at all because I just get my daily check-ins for the rewards, because this update was very much just a filler. Like the last one at least had a little content to it. This one was total filler, just to bide time before the next big release, because the next big release coming in like a week is going to be the big, not this week, I think next week, is the big, like, the next big story update where we finally get to go to the Golden Palace that appeared in the sky in the distance a few updates ago. And they've just been kind of filling time until we get the next big story update, which is coming next, I believe. So then there will be more time to play that. I'll need more time to play that, I mean. And then, of course, as planned, while traveling to and from Massachusetts, I played quite a bit of The Sinking City. Less on the way up and more on the way back. The way back, I played like pretty much the whole trip. And I was going great until I hit a boss fight for some reason. There was this underwater section that was a little annoying, and then you go into this underwater cave, and there's a bunch of crazed cultists and a big giant tentacled, Lovecraftian monster in the center, and you have to kill everybody, including the monster. The problem is the monster throws these exploding wads of goo at you, and if it blows up anywhere near you, you basically die instantly. So that was where I actually finally said, I tried, and then I said, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm going to lower the difficulty of combat to easy. And then it was still crazy, ridiculous hard. And I eventually stopped because, A, I was nearly back to the city anyway, and also because I'm like this, and I'm on a bus like this, and I didn't want to, eventually I was afraid I was going to get too into it and elbow the poor woman sitting next to me, and I didn't want to do that. So I put the game away and said, I'll play it, I'll finish this battle at home on the TV where I can see better, and with a regular controller that'll feel better, and maybe I'll be able to do it then. Spoiler alert, I did not. I looked online to see if there were any tips or tricks, and there were different things. They're like, no, basically it's a complete pain in the ass, and it takes so much ammo from any of your weapons to actually hurt this monster. And some people said the easiest way to do it is to grab the goo and throw it back so it explodes in the creature. The problem is that it throws multiple things of goo, so when you go to grab one, you throw it, and then you can't move fast enough, and and another one will blow up right near you and kill you dead. The whole thing got so frustrating, and they were basically like, yeah, you get a few hundred experience points for killing the monster, but it's also like a super pain in the ass and uses up all your ammo, so you have to weigh it yourself if it's worth it, because you can literally just like grab the evidence that you need and peace out. And so that's what I ended up doing. I said, fuck it. So there's still this like monster below the city and whatever. I was like, it's not worth the stress and frustration. I want to continue playing this stupid game. And I just did a section where I had to like work my way through this building that was like chock full of monsters, and it was still challenging. And I realized, oh wait, the difficulty is still on easy. If I had tried to play this on normal, who knows how hard it would have been. So I'm glad I kept it on easy, and I'm going to leave it on easy for the whole rest of the game, because Jesus Christ, this game is not meant for combat. Like, the gameplay mechanics for the actual, like, exploration and mystery solving and evidence and questioning people, like, that's fine. That all works great. But these people are not developers to do action games, because the action is it's not good. Like, the actual act of shooting your gun is not great. The controls are not great. But then also, like, the health is on the same weapon wheel as all of your weapons. And it's, like, It's so unintuitive. So in the heat of battle, you can't just press a button and heal yourself. You have to actually go into your weapon wheel, select the health pack, then you have to inject yourself, which takes a few seconds, and then you're healed. Meanwhile, the monsters are still attacking you. You know, so it's like, what the hell? And then you have to switch back to your weapon so that you can shoot them again. And you can't really, like, go find a safe place to hide because they will continue coming after you. So, like, you basically have to, like, run into, like, multiple other rooms and hope there's no monster in there so that you can heal yourself and then maybe not die and then switch back to your weapon. And it's just, the whole thing is so unintuitive and, like, it just makes combat so frustrating and difficult. So we're leaving it on easy. Also, as I've been playing through and doing multiple cases, I still haven't done any of the side quests. I've stuck to the main storyline, but now that I have, like, the shotgun, which is a super great weapon, and the rifle, I'm like, I think I have enough weapons that I can start doing the side quests, that have been building up that I haven't done, because everything I read said, do the main quest until you have a lot of weapons and experience and you're stronger, and then go do the side quests because they'll be easier to take care of. But what I've noticed is the mystery part, which I said, like, all of that is good gameplay. The mystery part still bothers me. As you might recall, in a couple episodes ago, when I talked about starting this game, the opening mystery was like, you know, who do you side with? You know, the killer or the victim's father, who's a complete racist and will commit genocide on the people who killed his son. Not just the one, all of him. All the fish people. And it's, like, not a great choice. And there is no real choice, you know, and every time you solve a mystery, it's like, it bothers me a little that, like, there's not a solution. There's not always a solution to the mystery. Like, you basically combine all the evidence and you make your deductions, and then you get to the point where it's like, do you think this or that? And it's like, no, there should just be a solution. So that's a little frustrating. And then, of course, there's, like, I just did one now. I just finished the father and son case where you have to choose between the father and the son. The father is a mobster who kills people, and the son is, like, a war hero, but he's kind of in the thrall of the cult that was the underground with the monster and everything. They were, like, grooming him to take over the city and use him, and he was in on this plan to, like, kill his father. And so, like, neither of them are good choices. You know, it's not like your normal moral choices in a video game where it's, do you side with the good guy or the bad guy? It's, do you side with the bad guy or the worst guy? You know? So it's not great. So it sort of bothers me that there's no, like, good solution to anything. It's always the lesser of two evils. So, like, I get it, that's what they're going for, and everything is shitty, and this city is doomed. So that's why I left the monster, because I was like, this is, like, clearly the end of this game is going to be bad, and, like, everyone will die probably, so I suppose that monster beneath the city will just help make it happen faster. Doesn't matter. Everyone will die anyway. I'm not wasting all my ammunition. Because also then you run out of ammunition, you'd have to go hide and craft more ammunition while trying not to get killed by the monster, and you're crafting ammunition behind a rock or something. I don't know. Ooh, the combat in this game is not good. I still like the story, but the combat is something you have to get through. So that's enough. I'm not going to ramble on anymore because this is already way too long. There will also not be I'm taking another week off next week because I couldn't get tickets to see The Odyssey on Saturday in IMAX. The only time I could get good seats was Sunday early afternoon. So Sundays is when I do this. So next week there will not be a podcast either. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Enjoy your summer. Bye!